What's up everybody, welcome to Balkan Moto. Today we're moving on with the installation of the Cobra exhaust. Let's check it out. Okay, so last time we left off after the installation of the oil relocation kit. Today we're going to continue with the Cobra exhaust installation. For that, the first steps are going to be taking out the old gaskets. So this one looks pretty crushed, as well as the one in here, which also looks pretty crushed. So we're going to take that out. I'm pretty sure that the Cobra exhaust requires this be relocated, and it comes with the bracket to do so. So we're going to loosen that up and move it out of the way. We're also going to loosen up the peg again and kind of let it hang down, just so we have enough clearance. That's kind of like the stuff that needs to be done on the motor. Maybe I'll just clean up a little bit here before continuing. But then we're ready to move on to the actual part installation. In terms of the parts, we have the so in the big paper here, that's the longer header, the one that goes in the front with the heat shield for it. And here we have the short header with the heat shield for it. We have the gaskets here. These are genuine Yamaha parts. The additional components, so I think these are the tips for the headers, and then all the bracketry to attach things together. This bracket I'm pretty sure is either for attaching the exhaust or for relocating the master cylinder for the rear brake. Maybe this is for the relocation, I don't know, we'll see. This is the instructions, and then in here we have the actual second part of the exhaust, which is the headers that click in, or clicks into the headers. So this, and they're kind of like dual pipes coming out the back. So let's prep the parts, look at the instructions, and start doing things. We're prepped for the installation. I took out the old gaskets, and I mean, you can kind of see what that looks like. It's pretty crushed and stuff, and that's the old one. That's what the new one looks like, so much better. I'm going to replace that, and then the front one, again, pretty crushed and stuff, and we're replacing it with a nice fresh one. So that's the gaskets. Other things, I have to remove the old mounting bracket which attached here. We're replacing that. The big bracket that you saw earlier, that's what that's for. And then on the front, I've loosened the front peg, just completely removed it. Cut the two zip ties that were holding the hose and the brake light cables, and took off the reservoir from there. We're going to be relocating that. So the small bracket that you saw, it's for that actually. Okay, so that's all out of the way. Now let's clean up some of this gunk here now that we have access to it, and move on to installing the front header. All right, so next on the list is relocating the master cylinder. So this little bracket and the extra bolt are essentially going to mount on here like this, and well, okay, I'll fish that afterwards, like this, and move it down. And it looks like that's supposed to move down as well, so like down in there, but that interferes with the oil relocation kit. So we may need to loosen the oil relocation kit and rotate the bracket lower to make more space. Either way, let's test fit with this applied stuff and see if we can bolt it on like this or if we need more clearance. All right, so after a little bit of deliberation over here and test fitting, it seems like the Barcon custom accessories oil relocation kit, along with the Cobra exhaust and the relocation bracket for the master cylinder, do not fit together. There isn't enough space, and rotating this down, there's only so much you can, and there still isn't enough space to put that in there. So for the time being, I'm just gonna like tied to this with one of these ties, just so it's still kind of in the stock location. But eventually we'll do a project to relocate it. I found some information. People tend to be relocating this thing all the way to the back of the bike. All right, we have the two headers on. They're currently not tightened. Now we're gonna line them up and add the rear assembly to them, which has the clamps on there already. I'm gonna get that assembled on there, tightened, and then attached to the rear bracket. Make sure everything's lined up and parallel to the floor, and then move on to the next step. After a bit of a battle with the front heat shield, finally the exhaust is on. We're just gonna mount the exhaust tips. That one just gotta be pushed in with the little Allen key screws. All right, and here's the final product. Let's hear how it sounds. Give it some choke, priming. All right, so it runs like shit, mostly because the carburetors need syncing and fine-tuning. I think right now it's running a little bit lean, maybe, just because I kept hearing pops. But either way, sounds good. Let's put it back in. All right, guys, the new exhaust is on. In the next episode, we're gonna fine-tune the carburetors so that everything works perfectly. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications when new videos become available. Check me out on Instagram at Balkan Moto 2018, and check out balkanmoto.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.